Detours. Brought to you by Sports and Spokes, the magazine for wheelchair sports and recreation. John, it's pretty obvious to me that you like to get out in the field. You like to do a little hunting. You're from Wisconsin, which is a classic hunting territory. What's it like to get out in the field, and how difficult is it to maneuver around out there? Do you have special equipment that you use to be able to hunt?
Yeah, I mean, as a kid, I spent a lot of time pushing my manual chair all over. But the last couple of years, I've had what's called an action track chair. So it kind of looks like a chair, but instead of wheels, you have tank tracks, and it's all electric, so it's completely quiet. So that's what I've used over the years. So I'll drive that out to my tree stand. I'll climb up my tree, pull up my bow or my gun if I'm gun hunting. It's a game changer to have that equipment to get me out there.
What are some of the challenges? So, assuming you bag your deer, so now you've got to do like a field dressing. You got to get everything ready. How difficult? I mean, there's got to be some complexity involved in how it is that you approach the whole setup from beginning to end.
Yeah, I mean, anybody with a disability knows that when you do something that most able-bodied people do, you got to find a little bit of a different way to do it. But I've managed to figure out how that works. Field dressing a deer can be a little bit different because you're on the ground and, you pull everything out and it's going right on you. So, just being creative with being downhill, or I bring a rope out and I'll drag my deer home, or whatever's going on. It's also pays to have good friends that'll help you out with some of that stuff too. So it's not as messy, but yeah, for sure.
Hey, so what's some of the difficulties between bow hunting and rifle hunting? I understand from talking to my friends back east that it's a little bit more difficult to hunt with a bow. Is it? And what are some of the complexities?
Yeah, I mean, bow hunting, you got to get within 20, 30 yards of an animal without them knowing you're there. And you also have to be able to draw your bow back without them seeing you. So it's definitely more of a challenge, but that's also why I really enjoy it. You get to encounter an animal up close. You also get to have the challenge of being that close to them without them knowing, or at least getting close enough to get a shot opportunity. I love gun hunting as well because it's another chance to get out in the woods and enjoy nature at a different time of the season when it's a little bit colder and a little bit more open. But both of them are really awesome. I just really love bow hunting because of the challenge.
We'd like to take a minute to thank our sponsor, Sports and Spokes magazine. For nearly 50 years, they've produced stories on iconic athletes performing at the top of their game, given generational coverage of sports dating back to the 1970s, and they've shown the way with exciting and timeless magazine cover shots. To stay on top of all the latest news from the world of high-performance adaptive sports, go to sportsandspokes.com. Sports and Spokes, the magazine for wheelchair sports and recreation. So as an outdoorsman, I know you also enjoy fishing. Do you tend to like to fish more on a lake from a boat, or do you go down by a stream and go fly fishing? What's your choice?
I Ironically, I can't swim. I can't even float. But I love going out in the boat. We go to Canada every summer, fishing for walleyes in northern, and then my dad and I love to panfish around Wisconsin, catching bluegills and crappies. But I definitely prefer going out on the boat. I think it gives you a little bit more options of where you can go.
Yeah, I find it just really interesting that you've taken what you've got, with the whole wheelchair thing, and still yet you embrace the outdoorsman nature of being, a guy from Wisconsin.
Yeah, it's part of my family growing up was hunting and fishing, growing up on a farm. And it's also an awesome thing that I think that we can cherish and have camaraderie together. Another part of the team aspect of kind of like wheelchair basketball. And I'm excited. Even this spring, my dad and I are going to New Zealand on a red stag hunt. Part of my Christmas present to him. So we're going to be out there and taking my track chair out there, and it's going to be a really good time.
So just knowing circulation is an issue for paraplegics in general, do you take any special precaution when you spend time in the field?
I mean, I always am readjusting myself, making sure I don't have too much pressure in one spot too long. Making sure that I am putting enough layers on my legs and my feet so they don't get too cold, that type of thing. Because you gotta think about that when you're out there too. Just because you can't feel it doesn't mean that you don't take care of it. But I treat my lower body the same as my upper body, making sure that I have warmth and everything.